Resumed by Snowspider. Chapter 3. The next morning Peter was slow to wake up, and without Ned's constant bothering and nudging, he probably never would have managed. It was, after all, a school day, so Peter knew he had to get up and going, but what he really wanted was some more sleep. His head was feeling miles better, but it still had a light throb to it. Dude, you have to go to your apartment, like, now. You have no extra clothes, and not to be rude, but you smell. Peter crinkled his nose, which sounded like a lot of effort, but Ned had a point. He couldn't go to school smelling like sweat. That was just plain gross. How did Tony and May even let him have a sleepover at Ned's on a school night so unprepared? Peter couldn't remember their exact words, but... Peter, Ned whined in frustration, already running around his room in preparation. Okay, I'm up, Peter said, stretching his arms behind him before grabbing his bag that lay haphazardly on the floor. With the zip open, Peter dug around the bag, feeling loose papers, books, and an old chocolate wrapper. But most worrisome, no suit. Ned, did you take my suit out of here? Ned poked his head out from the bathroom and spoke around the toothbrush sticking out from the corner of his mouth. No, isn't it in there? You came through my window last night with your normal clothes already on. Peter's hand stopped mid-search. Now that he thought about it, he did remember changing and stitching up the wound in his side with thread and needle. Peter frowned. He didn't want Ned to know he was injured, or May, or Mr. Stark. That was for sure. But where was the suit? Please don't say I lost $1 million suit, Peter cried, dragging a hand through his tangled, sticky curls. You what? Ned screeched, spitting toothpaste foam all over the carpet. Peter's own heart began picking up speed. Where did I put it? Where? Tony was going to kill him. Peter scrambled for his phone that was luckily stored in his jeans pocket. Unluckily, it didn't want to turn on. Red paint, Peter recalled, lots of it too. His hands were covered, and he meant to Google something, because Karen was down and he short-circuited the phone. He broke and lost the suit and chasing down a bad guy that Tony would refer to as going over his head. Thinking about Ada Becker, didn't he maybe leave the suit there? That seemed about right. Peter grabbed at his bag before rushing to the closed window and making a jump out of it. He had just enough time to yell a rushed goodbye to Ned before his feet were again on the ground. Peter took off running to his apartment. His side was mostly fine, so the exercise wasn't too intense. He needed a shower and a fresh pair of clothes if he was going to track down his suit. Maybe a quick bowl of cereal too. After he solved the entire missing suit issue, he could sit back down and joke about it with Tony, but first things first, damage control. He was almost positive that nobody would blame him for skipping school. Once Peter was finally in his and May's apartment, his breathing was laboured and his head was throbbing with a large vengeance. Running with a concussion was maybe not the best idea. How on earth did he even pull the I'm fine card on Tony without the man getting suspicious? Tony could sense a lie from miles away. Well, with Peter at least. Maybe he told May instead, and she just informed Tony. That seemed a bit more possible. May would never allow a sleepover on a school day, and Tony was way easier to plead with. Either way, May was working an all-nighter. Peter's head hurt even more, trying to think about it. Tony woke up with his own headache and a half-empty wine bottle. The half-fullness wasn't his own doing, not complete at least. He had the help of Pep, May, and Happy. So really, he only had a small drink. The heartache was still there, though. It never left to begin with. His kid was dead. Tony pulled out his phone again for what felt like the 100th time and dialed Peter's number. Just like before, the call was automatically thrown off without a second of wait. A message popped up on his screen. The number you were trying to reach doesn't seem to exist or is currently unavailable. Why? Tony questioned telepathically at the phone. Was this just another sign that Peter was truly gone? He did try to get other leads at least, not that he succeeded. He went to the scene of the crime the night before, and he had retrieved the suit against the police's desires, but that didn't faze him. He dismissed the law plenty of times before. He was more focused on the fact that May didn't over-exaggerate. There was a lot of blood. So much blood. Tony couldn't even get his head around it. He had found it tortuous to lift the dripping suit from the ground and place the dreaded thing in a plastic bag. Tony shuddered at the memory. Ada Becker was still close by at the police station when Tony visited after his suit pickup, but Tony didn't get anything out of him, even when the punch was thrown. The man just kept saying that with the same tone gleefully, "I killed the Spider-Man." Tony took a deep inhale of breath and soon felt a comforting hand on his shoulder. He looked up into Pepper's face, also just woken up. The four of them had had such a cry fest that it seemed as if they fell asleep on the couch. "It's just great, though," Tony, getting up to stretch his sore back. His current discomfort did nothing to steer his thoughts away from Peter, his beautiful kid.